factors, I guess you could say. I mean, anytime Kiyotaka's in the game, you know it's going to happen.
Well, you could make the same case for Emo too, right? So
yes. I mean, well, that's the thing. Emo, I want to say the first half of the tournament was actually not like that. He was super solid, if not amazing. And then now he's faltered a little bit, so a little bit more inconsistent now again. See if he can find the former glory of 3 days ago for him.
It's just his, I feel like that's been his player identity for as long as I can remember. It's just he can be the best player in the world one day, and then another day he can overextend 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
And kind of make some uncharacteristic mistakes. And I mean, we've seen the polarity of Kiyotaka in this tournament too. Yesterday against Power Vision, he had an insane Pango game. But then other games, it's just not clicking. So the inconsistency in delivery is... It's interesting because I think we've had this conversation before, actually. If you could pick a player if you were making a team, you would rather have the player that has S-tier performances sometimes, and some days they just bomb out, than you would have someone that's consistently solid but never great. You know?
Well, okay, if you're putting together a roster, you need one person like that at most.
Right.
But yeah, I would agree.
Because that's like, you know, another great example of this would be Duraccio. Look at how many championships he won, right?
Yep.
And people would shit on him when he had bad games, but then perhaps not recognize the games that he would just completely take over in a fashion that pretty much no other player could have, right?
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting that there just are players like that and that the game enables them in that way. So let's see who's going to show up today. I think mid lane is just going to be the lane to watch because that's where there's definitely the most volatility will be between these two guys. And in this game, you have to favor Emo on hero-to-hero matchup. This is a very good lane for Lina. The Void Spirit does not really hold too much of a candle to you in the laning stage. But later on, it gets interesting because Void Spirit can get on top of you. And that's what Lina does not like, is getting jumped in fights. You got Void Spirit, you got Tusk, you got the Surge of Darks here to stay on top of her.
Yeah, we'll mention, of course, the matchup used to be worse. This facet actually helps quite a bit for Kiyotaka, changing the barrier, or sorry, the physical shield that you get from Resonant Pulse into just a general barrier.
Yeah.
So usually that magic damage would just destroy Kiyotaka, and I mean, he's still going to find a bit of issue, of course.
I love that word, the name of this facet, Sanctuary. It's such a good word. We never say that, Shane.
Yeah.
Because we have no reason to.
We should put that into our vocabulary list. You know, I think in the future we should have a new word of the day that we try to implement, like amalgamation, which is from 20 years ago at this point. LSA connects again. Kiyotaka, 6-3 right now versus the 6-2 Emo. So far even.
It's pretty hard to dodge. You would think it's not that hard to dodge Light Strike Array with Dissimulate, but Dissimulate has a deceptively long cast time. So if you factor in, you know, reaction time versus Lina's ability to pump fake the stun, you obviously can't tell. Like with Kunkka, for example, when you cast the Torrent, you'll see his mana bar go down when he actually casts it.
Now you will.
But with Lina, that's not the case. Like when she loses her mana, you don't really have time to react with the
that's because it's a cast time versus the actual delay of the spell.
So this is very hard for Kiyotaka to dodge. And I have to say, I love Emo going this build. We've mainly seen Lina's in this tournament go something like 4-0-3. Emo valuing the Light Strike Array point for this matchup to try to play more of a harassment style rather than a farming style. So he's hitting the stuns. Kiyotaka for now will be able to float the lane, but this is where the rune control gets really important. If Kiyotaka is unable to get water runes at minute 4, he could be bullied out of lane by Emo, just consistently laying into him here. So I don't know if we'll see a support rotation for minute 4, but Kiyotaka might already be calling for it here.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen it a decent amount of times already in this patch as the LSAs continue to come out. But looking at Yakult to go along with Emo, Fly playing the Weaver, we saw, I believe it was Satanic, go completely berserk on this hero yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is a patch thing or a Satanic thing. But yeah, your thoughts on, I guess, the lineups overall?
I think this is a really good Weaver game. It was also one of the last picks, if not the last pick of the draft, right? So when you have a lot of information, you see relatively limited lockdown, and you can envision a fight where you can move around freely. Weaver is a potentially true hard carry in current Dota. Oh, they're trying to dive down here on the side of Aurora. They will commit to it. This is awkward.
Yeah, Ollie, he's going to take the stun. Looks like he will eventually drop. And that is first blood for Toronto Tokyo. And the question is, can they get out? Mira likely will fall to Fly.
Yeah.
The benefits of having a Weaver on your team, of course. But yeah, first blood for Toronto Tokyo should help quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's probably fine, especially when it's Darkseer, because I was going to make the point that you spent so many resources on this, but Darkseer is about to hit level 4, and he's going to get a burst of regen from that, so it's probably going to be okay. And he gets a very fast Vanguard, which is the item against Weaver, of course. Works very, very well, and yeah, he should be having a solid game here. Gyro from Nightfall was a direct response to the Beastmaster that we saw Yakult pick up. In the last patch, what people would generally do when this happens was just put the Beastmaster mid, but not really an option Yakult were interested in this one. They're interested in killing Beyond, though, on the side of Aurora. Triple teaming him here, and this should be good. They got it.
Yeah, very easy one. Good rotations as Nightfall will claim it. So 2 kills for Aurora early on.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And feels like the gyrocopter hasn't been coming out as consistently as we've been seeing in the past. As Panto skewered into the tower.
That's
but
not...
Baboka is triple teamed and easily taken out by Panto and company. So bites off a little bit too much.
I'm not really sure what he was expecting there, to be honest with you. Like, that was never going to happen. It wasn't even close, him killing Panto. It was like 150 or 200 HP to go. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication with when Beastmaster was arriving. Maybe he felt like he was just going to die, so he might as well go for the skewer. But I actually think he was fine if he didn't make a play. But either way, a great start here for the side of Aurora in both side lanes. The mid lane is the one falling behind a little bit, but that is to be expected for Kiyotaka. 6-minute rune is where it's at.
Mira's
Aurora
spotted.
here in numbers, and they will get him the Arcane. This is big.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
For Kiyotaka. Perhaps, and this is where it gets really interesting for the side of Aurora, if they could kill Lina mid with a rotation from Tusk when Void Spirit gets level 6, they could effectively win all 3 lanes. The luxury of having a Darkseer with such a fast Vanguard is that he doesn't even need any help. I don't think he's at any risk of dying to Weaver Shadow Shaman, so the Tusk is free to play the map exactly like he wants, and Mira is probably not coming back to bottom for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Kiyotaka has to be careful, though. Not quite level 6. Very close. LSA is there into the Hex. Shackle to follow, and Emo with the Laguna. That's enough. Kiyotaka just so close to that level 6.
Yeah.
But now he's going to have to wait to use that Arcane rune for when he's back.
Yeah, and Aurora, they also don't manage to contest the Wisdom. They're now bringing heroes over to mid. Feels like this is just a little bit too late, right? And if they want to try to kill Emo, that opportunity is gone. They're going to lose both Wisdoms. Fly just snuck over there on the Weaver. This is another aspect of this hero that's kind of interesting. Its ability to fight for Wisdom Shrines. One thing is sneaking in, but you're also incredibly good for the fight itself when you're showing up at level 5 or especially level 6. But yeah, getting that one for free, that's big news for the side of Yakult. The supports on the Dire side will be struggling to find those ultis, and both of them are very important this game. You want the punch since you have so limited lockdown.
Yeah.
And the Oracle save against Roar, against RP. This will be coming out much, much later than planned.
Of course, Baboka, we've been seeing in this tournament, play a ridiculously good Magnus support.
Yeah, he's been the best Magnus, I think.
And he's going to run into Mira.
They'll put him to the test. Oh,
Ollie gets the Hex and in instant disengage from both sides.
yeah.
As Kiyotaka gets the regen rune. So far the rune battle on Aurora's side.
That's one of those fights, or rather, it wasn't a fight, but it's one of those decisions where it would be really cool to go back and just look at the individual vision of the teams, right? Because from our perspective, that was clearly going to be a bad fight for Yakult, but with the vision they had, this seemed like more of an overall assessment based on lane positions to make that call to not initiate after you get the Hex.
Baboka going to be defending this tower as the rest of Aurora checking to see if there's any stacks. There are none. They've already put so much pressure on this top lane. Looks like the tower's already going to fall. Nightfall going to be happy with that. Going for the Chrysalis first item into likely the Aghanim Scepter.
Radiant's top tower
As close to cookie cutter as you can get for this hero. And for Fly, we talked about
Radiant's
the last
top
time this
tower
was
is
played.
under attack.
He went for, or not him, but what did Satanic go for again? It wasn't the Dragonlance first. He went the Deso route.
Did he rush Deso, or did he get a small item before? Did he also get Falcon Blade?
I believe he got Falcon Blade Deso.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but...
I think you're right. For once.
So this is Dragonlance into what exactly? Like, what do you think the item that makes more sense this game? Because if he's going to go Deso, he would have been prioritizing it already, I feel like. Like a Maelstrom type, perhaps?
I guess one upside to... I don't know how much it matters to get, like, cleave against Darkseer Wall, right? Of some kind, but... It's the only real argument I see here for why Maelstrom would be better, unless you think you just really want to focus on farming versus fighting, but you look at their lineup.
Oh, Astral Step into the Aether Remnant,
Yeah,
and the Snowball connection is made. Easy pick-off. As Panto picking up a lot of these kills, he's going to pause the game to make sure that his game's not bugged. Not used to having this many in the game.
Yep.
Sitting on 2.
I think he's pausing now. He's realizing, wait, guys, did we forget the Wisdom Shrines? Gonna go and pick it up. Yeah, nice rotation, though. This was the play I was talking about. You're gonna do this to Lina with this lineup. You just are. And it's hard for Yakult to be ready every single time to counterplay it. And that time they were caught off guard.
Yeah, and we should mention that, I mean, having an Oracle on the thing, we've seen every single rune go the way of Kiyotaka and company.
Yeah.
They know exactly where and what it's going to be. And it's not something that we inherently see because there's no text indication, which that would be a nice thing for Valve to put in at some point for the spectators at least.
Do you like this innate conceptually? I don't really like this one.
I actually find it very interesting because it's so unique. So yeah, I actually do like it.
It's very unique. I personally don't like this one, and I don't like the Roche one for TA, just because I think that advantage fundamentally is kind of... I personally find them to be kind of game-breaking, because I think so much of the game at a pro level revolves around that exact knowledge of when does Roche spawn.
So I would actually agree more with the Roche one than the power runes.
Really?
I'm not saying that you're not... I'm not saying there's not an inherent advantage of getting all these power runes, but there's also mind games that go into it.
Sure.
Like grouping up on one side where it's actually going to be on the other, like faking them out. I think it just makes for more interesting gameplay as opposed to Roche, which is... I think you could argue that runes make a big difference in the game. Roche is the game winner in many games where runes are not. That's why I'm okay with it. Call down, try to defend here for Nightfall. Another pause.
Damn, that's our third pause for the game in 10 minutes. Hope this is not going to be the trend of the day. Although, of course, we love talking about nothing, so we'll entertain ourselves.
That's right.
But
you want to talk about shoe sizes again?
yeah, that's right. That was a great segment, Sunsfan. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I was having such a good laugh backstage afterwards. I was like, okay, so Shiva opens the floor, and she's like, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? And you just jumped on it. Like, you were super excited to talk about this absolute nothing burger of a conversation. I was like, this is one of the worst segments I've done this for many, many years, and so have you.
Same.
And I'm trying to remember a less interesting panel segment. I cannot come up with one. And it would be one thing if Shiva was like, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? And everybody's like thinking it over like, I don't know. I don't really have anything. And you're like, you know what, guys? All right. If you guys have nothing else, let's talk about shoes. You were like, let's talk about shoe sizes. Woo! You were super excited. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
It's a skill, all right? It's a skill.
Yeah, you loved it. You made Jenkins really say that. How was he saying it? He was trying to say it in the European way, I think. I think he's really trying to... He was not specifically not saying Adidas. He was saying Adidas.
Yeah, his conversation was worse. Is Toronto Tokyo taken out by Fly. That is a pretty big kill for the Weaver. 2-0 right now.
Of course, with these pauses, I think the players... This is what happens a lot in games that get a lot of pauses, a little bit of disruption in focus. I'm not saying he died because of that, but sometimes that does happen.
Yep, you've been there many a time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have paused a lot of games.
Baboka used the RP for that, I assume, since we didn't see it.
Yep. Well, at least he doesn't have it. He might have whiffed it. Who knows?
Oh, will be a Deso still for Fly.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I wonder the Dragonlance build-up if he just feels like he needs a little bit of extra tankiness and the range to combat Gyro. One of the upsides to having this is both Weaver and Gyro have short attack range when Black Cannon is inactive. So with the Dragon Lance, you have the range advantage, and you can perhaps trade more favorably for that reason, or it's a recognition of the fact that the enemy team has this like assassin-style lineup, and just having a little bit more distance gives you more time to react. And at the same time, also just a player preference. Oh, this is a good find. Nightfall did not expect
Swarm
this gate
applied,
play.
have the shackle as well, and this is going to be an easy one in the end. Does get off the call down, but to no avail. TP canceled as well, so see if Yakult can turn this into more. It feels like the support's taken all the kills today. But great rotation from Fly. We talked about this yesterday, just a very good carry for just coming in for a little poke, a little kill here, then go back. Very mobile in general.
Not surprised you like that kill. Of course, Fly using your favorite skill in Dota, the shawarma.
I knew you were gonna, Arcana.
I knew you were gonna like that one. Yeah, just instead of bugs, it's just shawarmas.
Blink up for Baboka. We'll see if they want to smoke once. Well, the RP is back up actually. Dota2 getting forced out a bit.
It's gonna have the Crimson in 50 gold. Great item against Weaver. Not and against Beastmaster.
He's actually gonna go for the RP. Oh, just on the edge. LSA Laguna. Kiyotaka dead. That was so close to being out of range on the RP.
Baboka is so good at this hero.
Perfect.
There were a couple of things about this draft that were honestly just flat out very surprising. Like the Magnus made it to 4th pick for Yakult, and the Darkseer made it to 4th pick for Aurora. And
I feel like the Magnus has consistently been making late in drafts, though, right?
I don't know.
It's really weird.
We saw on day 1 or I think maybe day 1 and 2 that this hero was just owning it up, and then people stopped picking it. I'm like, why wouldn't this team just pick it from both?
Potential pick off here, but Nightfall gets the call down off. False Promise not going to be in time. Dies beforehand. Now the chase is on, but the Roar going to keep Gyro contained. They do lose the support in Ollie, so 1 for 1. Now Beyond on the run. Baboka shadowing him. Getting a shockwave as Beyond is still slowed. There's Baboka. We'll be trying to tank this. Gets the skewer off onto Gyro.
Wait,
goes to the north. Is he actually going to be okay here? No, 8th and Remnant back into the fray, so trying to save his team as the Lina dies.
How did Toronto-Tokyo kill him without... Oh, he did use... Wait, where's the wall? Oh, it's up there. Oh, wow. This was a long chase, I think.
Is that a solo kill?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Lina was buttered up from the fight before, but still was not anticipating that Toronto-Tokyo. That's a massive kill for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting that solo pick on Lina.
Here we go.
And this was also happening off screen. Fly. Yeah. Killed off Mira and got the shrine again. So that's 4 wisdom shrines in a row now for the side of Yakult. Very even game.
Advantage for Yakult. At the very least, they do have level 6s on their supports for the Aurora side. As Kiyotaka...
Yeah, just barely. It's minute 15.
Yeah.
They're both level 6. The support is on the Radiant, level 9 and almost level 9 on Shaman, too. It's a massive advantage on the experience.
level 9. Kiyotaka's level 9.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Well, the level is definitely not in their favor right now.
He went for the Spirit Vessel build here. And we'll be going for the Ags next for the Resonant Pulse Silence. What's the Spirit Vessel for exactly? Just the heals from the Oracle? Doesn't feel like a normal Spirit Vessel game.
Well, if you're buying Vessel in this game on Void Spirit, I feel like you just buy it every game, right? It's good against nothing. There's no heroes that inherently have healing. There's no heroes with massive HP pools. I guess Beastmaster's all right. So now that it's all attributes, maybe Void Spirit just defaults to this. It obviously, it's a great damage booster, right? So that's why you're buying it. But generally speaking, in the last patch, Vessel was never bought unless you specifically took advantage of the minus healing. Since you're not doing that this game and still grabbing it first item, Kiyotaka just thinks this is the item on the hero every game. It's the only conclusion here, right?
Oh, he played Void Spirit the other day, didn't he? Don't think he went for Spirit Vessel.
Kiyotaka did. Did he?
Maybe not. Desolator now online for Fly's. The tier 1 tower is sacked. Aurora claims it, and now an Ags for Nightfall as well.
Deso on the Weaver. Yep. This is a very even game right now, and I think for the side of Yakult, that's good news because we've seen how many games them being in either an even or slightly disadvantageous position, and Baboka just wins the game with Magnus. You have Oracle against it. for Aurora, which is a big difference from other Magnus games he has played. But the thing about that matchup that can get spicy for the Oracle is if you get good skewers off, Oracle save almost doesn't even matter if you're fast enough. It can be really difficult to react with the false promise. The cast point of RP into skewer is pretty low.
Kiyotaka finding an
Be a big
opening here
find,
onto Emo. Aether Remnant bringing it back, but Ollie with the instant hex. Laguna Blade does literally nothing other than get rid of some of that shield rune. LSA to follow. Baboka skewers, but no RP to follow. Flyfly making his way over. Time lapses already just to get better positioning. I think that just ends the fight.
Yes, the classic 5-on-5 mid with no objective minute 17. That wasn't even a tower.
Yes.
Everybody shows up. And this is a big part of the Weaver pick. It's very good at assassinating that Oracle, so Panto had to disengage quickly, but that time around Baboka did not find the skewer he was hoping for. I think he really wanted to fish in the Oracle, and that fight would have been broken wide open, but they're going to try again. In spite of not having Laguna Blade, there's no wall, there's no call down.
Baboka, smoke will pop. Okay, going the other way now as Roche Pit being contested right now by Yakult. Kiyotaka will know about it. Aether Remnant, not going to find a connection. With the Hex onto the Void Spirit as Flyfly doing quite a bit to Panto. Snowball is not going to hit. Kiyotaka, they do have a good amount of catch.
He's
but
so fast.
Not enough in the end. But Roche, oh, here the Serpent Wards go down.
Oh, they're committing hard to this.
Blade as well. And they're going to have to get out of the pit because Aurora have come back. Meanwhile, oh, there's a skewer into the RP onto 2 with the right clicks from Flyfly. A lot of minus armor, but the snowball save with 3 members inside on top of Magnus. Down he goes, and now the fight is for Roche. Kiyotaka coming, trying to take it. Mira gets the Aegis of all people, and Aurora will clean house. They get 4 kills, and the only remaining member is Flyfly. They put so much into that fight for the Yakult side. They used Laguna and the Serpent Words onto Roche, and they still don't get the kill or the Aegis.
That was basically perfect for Aurora, right? It doesn't get much better than that. You get 2-man RP'd, but it's not the Tusk. He gets the snowball save onto both of them. In the meantime, Weaver, who was trying to chase the backline, started out maybe a little bit too early and got forced out of the fight. He's the only one to survive since he was away from the mayhem, but yeah, that was just awesome for Aurora. Like, they did everything correctly. They get the big rewards, and what was an even game is now going to massively favor them. The only downside, if you want to look at one there, is that the Tusk has the Aegis. That was the one thing they could have gone better, I guess, but
yeah,
you'll take this every single time.
Indeed. I mean, if they had Weaver, I mean, I know he went to the north, so he couldn't get there in time. If Weaver was in the pit while they were blowing everything on him, Laguna Blade and whatnot, they definitely would have gotten the Roche before Aurora.
Yeah, but then the complexion of the moment would have been different, right?
Yeah.
The reason that they even went for the Roche was that Flyfly was distracting, but Aurora didn't fall for it.
It does feel like Flyfly is the one that has to be in the pit.
Mira with the punch.
Walrus punch.
Okay. He has ult.
Does have time lapse. Shikuchi gets dusted, but he's fine. And now Yakult on the back foot here. Has the shard coming for Flyfly. Talked about that yesterday being one of the best shards in the game. Especially for carries. Feels like the carry shards are a lot of times just not particularly good. Not the case for Weaver.
Whoa.
Panto.
Okay. This is,
yeah. Walrus punch. He does not have time lapse. Snowball's going to hit. Gets blocked off, but wants to continue to fight. He's got reinforcements now. Mira taking heavy amount of damage, but the Crimson Guard doing pretty good work. Baboka gets a nice skewer onto Toronto Tokyo. Call down. Won't find anybody other than Baboka as the Laguna Blade reserved for the Aegis holding Mira. They lose their Magnus. They lose their Rasta. So Aurora going to be perfectly fine with this exchange, especially if it turns into a kill on the Flyfly.
oh, that did not hit. Could have got spicy, but
that's an interesting interaction there. The shard goes off without him probably wanting to.
yeah.
But won't cost them as Aurora will easily get the Tormentor now.
This will be a shard for Mira. I think they would have rather had Pantos, but it's all right. At least the ice shards in this game are level 3. It's not some 1-4-4 build. Now Mira can start clearing creep waves with the ice shards. A little more teamfight damage. And interestingly, I think against a hero like Weaver, it actually can matter quite a bit that the shards are deeper, because you can, like, the way you block him in at the end of it, perhaps that extra distance he has to run out with Shikuchi will allow you to vacuum him back in and then keep him contained. Kiyotaka approaching the item on this hero. 500 off the Axe, which will be a big problem for Weaver. And you can see Flyfly is not planning on getting a BKB, so he will be vulnerable for a long time against this Void Spirit with an 8k lead.
I don't know what percent of the runes they've gotten on Aurora.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't pay too much attention past the laning stage, but they, I'm sure, add up. As the butterfly for Nightfall will help him take the tier 2 tower.
He is so far ahead.
Yeah.
He's up by a full Premier item against the Weaver. 5,000 gold.
I mean, how is this matchup normal, just even if they're even? Like, who would you rather be?
Weaver.
Weaver or Gyro?
Weaver, I think. Because the thing about Gyro is...
Would you rather be him now? The double silence comes out. The stun locks. Down goes Flyfly.
Yeah, that's a problem.
As a wall onto Baboka. Gets vacuumed in.
Got him with the dust. Yeah, he has to.
Skewers to the high ground. TP is fine.
Barely made it. Mira was very close to having a punch there with Blink. He gets out.
Yeah, Weaver the big kill, though. That one wouldn't have mattered much anyway. 10k lead for Aurora in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I would obviously not rather be Weaver if Gyro is an item up. But if they're even, I would say it's generally a good matchup for Weaver. Gyro is a spread damage carry. Of course, when you have Flat Cannon, you can do more single target damage, but usually, you know, the Flat Cannon will hit a further away target when Weaver's close. Don't have time for that.
Kiyotaka is who they want. Laguna Blade, LSA. Oh, that beautiful shackle onto the Tusk. Mira trying to save his comrade. Double kill for Emo. That was really good reaction time from Ollie.
Did Tusk blink into the LSA, or did he blink into...
he blinked into Shackle.
That shouldn't be possible.
What do you mean it shouldn't be possible? He wasn't close enough to get Snowball off yet.
Oh, so he did. So
he had to walk a bit.
He blinked too far away. I see. Okay.
But still, the Shackle was like instant.
Yeah, it's very fast.
Crazy reactions. This Flyfly going to be accompanied by his team. No members of Aurora on this side of the map, though, so most they can do is poke at this tier 2.
That's honestly a pretty big sequence to get there for Yakult. When you're this far behind, just getting a little bit of a free core kill plus support under your tower. They need to buy time and try to get Flyfly up to speed here.
Another power rune the way of Aurora. There's a Crimson. Finally picked up for Beyond. Feels like Toronto Tokyo's had his for quite a while. A little bit surprised that Kiyotaka's bottom net worth for the cores. That's kind of interesting.
This happens a lot to Void Spirit. I think by design, this hero will just often find himself in this range because you're very much about hunting kills. If you play a farm style, this hero has pretty high mana cost, so it's hard to just maintain your spellcasting. When you go Vessel, you're not going to have enough mana regen to just spam your spells for farm, whereas a hero like Lina will just out-farm you, right? So you need to compensate with kills, and there hasn't been too many this game for him. Smoke could
as they're going
bear
hunting.
Fruit. They see Emo. This is a big quick reaction on the BKB. Should be getting out, maybe. There's a punch threat, but run off to the right here and TP back to base. Mid tower is probably a goner, though. Nightfall with the coverage of Oracle.
Should mention the shard pickup for Kiyotaka, giving True Sight against the Weaver can be pretty damn good as well. Potentially.
Yeah, and it makes it into a clock, which Valve love to make clocks that you can't read. 2 of them now in the game.
That's right.
No numbers on the axes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They're trying to pressure this tier 2. We'll back away.
Mission accomplished. They forced a TP out of Gyro. This means they're going to try to make a play on the other side of the map, but Boca not getting any vision, though.
That was close. And now it's nighttime.
Satanic on the Gyro. I mean, Nightfall's just... Very, very big. 370 CS minute 26 to the 230 of Weaver. It's up by 150 CS. Carry versus carry, that's pretty unusual nowadays.
This is like an alchemist game.
Yeah, when you look at the net worth distribution, it kind of looks like he's an alch. It's of course worth keeping in mind that he is the net worth lead. The rest of the game is even. So if Gyro gets out of position, or if they take a fight without him nearby any sort of 4v4 or whatever.
If you can force Nightfall to Nightfall away, you're going to be in a good spot.
Absolutely.
That's true. He doesn't have BKB. He can't actually do the Nightfall.
He shouldn't need to. When he's this tanky and has 2 saving supports, he really should be able to stand his ground. But there's always that skewer.
Does he feel comfortable without having the Nightfall in his pocket?
He's not going to buy it this game, I think.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
He's queuing up Swift Blink next. Just doesn't want to buy BKB. I mean, you are against Roar and RP, which will pierce it, but I still think the BKB has just intrinsic value against a lot of damage, right? Magnus, Shaman, Lina. It will block a lot, but I do think it's the right call not to buy it, at least for now. But maybe in as like the overall last slot, you might have to eventually get it, especially when more lockdown might get itemized with like a Hex, for example, on the Beastmaster.
Honestly, those late game, like super late game BKBs don't even feel that bad. 9 seconds.
Yeah, getting it very late can be very good. Absolutely.
Oh, Fly. Taka.
Yeah. Fly has the vision advantage. This is too easy to play around. He has 2 wards up here. Should never get caught.
Helping him farm a bit. Baby Triceratops. S&Y looks to be the next pickup for boys. Is that normal? Obviously wants a status resist, but
I'm gonna say not very common.
Where's his boot to travel, Cinderin?
Yeah.
He's a big believer. Okay, Taka. Wants to go into Fly. Aether Remnant goes off. They get the vision. They get the dust on top of the RP onto 3. Swarm to follow. But they still have the silence. They just don't have enough damage right now. Skewer from Baboka. He does save Fly. Attempting to TP out. Oh, he's actually fine. All right, so no casualties here.
Except Roshan.
True. Aegis for Nightfall. They'll get the banner as well.
I think high ground is on the cards here, specifically because RP was just used. I think this is...
But what about this?
Yeah, you kind of have to deal with the bottom problem first, but then, yeah, okay, this is good. This is going to bridge the gap between RPs, so Yakult doing the right thing under the circumstances, forcing a rotation back to base. Because I think Nightfall will love to just run down the lane right now. Even if he gets skewered into the enemy base, killing him twice with Satanic on him and the Oracle for protection, I think, is going to be a tall order without RP. So you just need to buy enough time to get it again. Baboka is a minute away. If they just run straight down bottom, they would have like 20, 30 seconds in the base before RP comes up. See if that's the plan here for the side of Aurora.
No. Nightfall just finishes Daedalus.
Seems like he's getting a new item every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Pretty absurd farming right now. So they will go down the bottom lane. And nice cutting here from the Triceratops from beyond.
They don't have their whole squad here. I think pushing is just not a... Oh,
There's only one wave.
Okay, they are connecting now.
There's only one... Well, there's another wave mid, I suppose. See how much Nightfall Company can get out of this before the backdoor protection inevitably comes in. Of course, Roche's banner certainly helping their cause. Puts it a little low, though. So now the creeps, half of them are available to kill. Not the greatest placement. Wave already dead. Nightfall forcing out the fortification. They will get the tower. The wave is mid, so they could theoretically keep pushing. Nightfall just wants to collect towers right now.
Yep.
Into the tier 2, or tier 3 mid.
Nice fuel. Oh, that's perfect from Mira.
Pass onto Baboka. Tries to get the RP off. Gets 2 in the RP, but they actually do get a nice connection onto the Void, or the Darkseer, I should say, but Nightfall is just going ham right now. He is not scared of anybody. Roar on top of Kiyotaka puts himself in a precarious spot. He's going to drop. Does have the buyback. Probably will not expend it here. As now Gyro basically left to his own devices against the entirety of Yakult. That's going to be life number 1, and this is pretty bad for Aurora. He's going to die a second time, despite being a monster in this game. And just like that, it's a 4K net worth lead.
Wow, it's honestly
Only
kind of
requires 1 buyback too.
It's kind of criminal that they don't get a lane here, and not only that, they lose a fight horribly too. Just, I don't know, they just dove way too deep. I think they're going to be kicking themselves now that they even went for this. What you managed to accomplish there with that perfect Yules from Mira, you could have played that fight in a way that Mag does not find an RP skewer, but instead he ended up still getting one.
Yeah. And
getting them a little bit out of position, and after that, they still fight in the tier 4 towers against a team that's rather obviously going to have a buyback. The entire lead is gone.
Yeah, this is even now.
And Gyro is still a monster, but
he's still up 6K by himself.
The way you want to play this usually when you have a hyper carry that's so far ahead is just let him hit the tower, man. And when you get, I thought when they got that Yules from Mira, I genuinely thought it was GG. It's like you catch the Magnus there, you kill him off with literally anything. You can purge him with the Oracle while he's flying in the Yules. You could get an Aether Remnant off. You could maybe catch him in shards, like whatever it is. And you kill the Magnus, you play back, and you keep letting Gyro hit the tower. The moment you dive, you're actually opening yourself up. You're becoming vulnerable in the fight for very little benefit. I mean, it's obviously easier said than done, right? But
and now it's going to be harder to pull that play with a BKB onto Baboka.
Yeah, this is a huge item.
Can cast or can activate that before jumping in.
Yep.
So now the game complexion of this game totally different. And from Yakult's perspective, you just cannot afford to have any pickoffs.
Another, obviously that was the reveal as well for Fly's BKB. So that's another big thing. Nice try here with the dust, but he just barely made it out from this gank. The way fights are going to break down now, in essence, is Magnus will try to fish for anything. If he finds any hero that is worth saving and skewers them in, Oracle will try to help, and then Fly will come in for the backstab. That's the type of fight Yakult want to play. On the side of Aurora, it's a little less obvious how you want to approach fights right now, I think. You obviously would be very happy if Void Spirit can get a jump and just burst a hero together with the Gyro. But the fact of the matter is you actually don't have that much burst damage when you look at it. I don't know. I think this game actually got really hard. Very suddenly.
Lots going to come down to this next Roche, for sure.
Yeah.
The question is, though, does Yakult think that this is an even net worth game?
Yeah, that's true. That's always going to be the... Having access to that information is, of course, something that teams do not. That was a Yoda sentence.
That's an aneurysm sentence, right?
I mean, it was technically correct. It was just a bit of an interesting...
Correct it was.
That's right. Right, that's...
Daedalus getting pretty close for Fly. Now, Aurora have something to truly worry about.
It's hard.
I feel like in the RPs, they haven't really had enough during just that one stun to kill off anyone. By anyone, I mean the cores.
Yeah.
With this Daedalus, they will.
The thing that's interesting about this is that I don't actually necessarily think Fly should kill people in the RP, which is kind of rare that your carry isn't... Usually RP
to the back
means
line and go for the supports.
Yeah, if you skewer in 1 or 2 enemy heroes and you RP them, Weaver shouldn't necessarily kill the RP'd heroes. Weaver should kill the supports. His whole fight is actually very straightforward. This is something very unique to this carry versus a lot of the other popular ones, is its ability to flank constantly in these fights and be relatively safe about it. Like, what's killing Fly when he goes in on the Oracle and pops BKB? I don't think he can die. Gyro does not have enough single target burst rate. You have 1 punch from Tusk, and you can time-lapse off 2,500 damage and just keep going. So, I would love to see Fly... Yeah, okay, he has it queued up. The Nullifier, right? It's just a reliable way of getting on the Oracle. And the only thing that's going to save Oracle if he finds him is the Tusk Snowball. But then you forced out Snowball, and you have the support positions compromised, and then the other teammates can... kind of compound on that play. So Aurora defensively have to be very, very careful with how they place their heroes against that carry. God, I love Weaver. I feel like I've always liked this hero.
Good for you.
You know. Opinions change. You think back, you've played this game for 2 decades. You probably at some point hated almost every hero if you think about it. Whenever you wish for a patch, you're like, God, I'm so sick of this hero.
Yeah.
There's probably been a patch for Weaver too where you were like, just nerf Weaver, man.
Yeah, probably. No, the tier 2 or the tier 3 gets taken out by the siege without any assistance from Aurora.
Can you think of a hero that's never been broken?
That's never been broken.
Yeah, like where you're like, okay, this is just too strong in this patch. Is there a hero that comes to mind? I'm looking through the hero list right now, trying to think. Someone who's never, I think Elder Titan. No, he was OP in Dota 1 when his auras.
There's always a hero.
That was also Dota 2 early on. I think both the Spirit carried both auras, right? In the beginning of Dota 2, I think it did. Where the Spirit also had the armor removal.
I feel like most heroes, if not all, have had their time to shine.
Yeah.
As a smoke from Yakult
Skywrath Mage, maybe?
comes
Has
out.
never been really good.
Yeah, just keep going down the list.
I mean, Skywrath is just such a weird hero sometimes. All right, here comes the push.
And Nightfall with the call down, blinks in. Lifelight already at half HP. They pop the Crimson as well.
Oh, this is an
Talk
interesting
on the
play.
other side, yeah. The Clock Remnant finds Lina.
They have them surrounded, but now they need to
In
get the
the
hell out of there. Will they find the
trees.
roar? Oh, he
He will
canceled his
cancel
own
the
TP.
TP, dissimulates to the south.
Uh-oh.
He's fine.
Well, for now, keep in mind he doesn't have a TP and he's playing against a chasing lineup of Weaver. I don't think he's fine.
RP available.
Okay.
He's fine.
Well,
Now the rest of
okay.
his team coming in with the smoke.
Oh, there's a damage rune bottom.
Emo gets off the LSA, but he's going to get punched into the air, pulled into the beautiful vacuum wall onto 2. Emo's going to BKB and try to right-click away with the Satanic, but they get the RP onto Nightfall. Can they do enough damage to take him out, though? The False Promise saving him, and now the Lina looks to be dead. That's 2 already down in terms of cores for Yakult. They find the Weaver as well. Buyback into the game, and now Aurora in really good position. The 2 supports that are dead do have buyback. Nightfall wants to go for the win right here, right now, and he might get it.
Nightfall boss. Look at those damage numbers on the fight recap. 10K. He did more damage than the enemy team combined.
Yep, pretty damn good. They're going to jump right in, trying to get this Weaver a second time. They will. It's a dieback.
Wow. All right.
And that's game. So Aurora, with a massive lead, throw it away, and then win a big team fight and win the game.
Yep.
The classic Aurora way.
Very unpredictable. We love that.
Between Aurora and Yakult, Rose is here. Sunsfang with Cinderin. Game 1, Aurora snatched it after almost gifting it. But they came out on top in the end. That's all that matters, Cinderman.
Yep.
This time around, you talk.
30 seconds to battle.
This is quite inherently different from the side of Yakult, mainly from Boboka playing Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
I found that this team looks the best when he is truly playmaking, which I know he did last game and they didn't win, but I still think the hero, in essence, was good for them. There's a lot riding on Emo here. He is playing one of his absolute best heroes, though, in the Storm, but this is not an easy Storm game. You're against Puck Coil, you're against Tiny, who can kill you in a combo. You have to always be cognizant of getting RP'd, and while you do have the save of the Shadow Demon plus Global Silence, that isn't necessarily going to be enough down the stretch. And you get to cast your favorite hero as well, of course, this game. Terrorblade has finally been picked again after we had a hiatus of 1 game.
What did I say in
good to
the
see him back.
green room when they picked him?
I don't remember. I think you went to the bathroom.
Yeah, and I came out and I saw they picked Terrorblade.
Yep.
And I literally screamed at the top of my lungs.
So when you said, what did you say? What you said was, ah.
No, I screamed the F word.
Oh.
Because I was so unhappy with seeing Terrorblade again.
Just to clarify which F word it was Puck.
Yeah, Puck with an F.
Yeah.
That's right?
Yeah, there's another F word that you hopefully did not scream in the green room.
No.
There you go.
Panto, he's going to be first blooded. Beyond will take the money. So a good start for the Centaur on the side of Yakult Bros.
Yeah, Shadow Demon Centaur classic. This lane very good at killing squishy supports without mobility, and AA fits that category perfectly. So that's one major upside here, especially when they get level 2. It'll get even easier, and Panto has to be very, very wary of how he's moving around in the lane. They caught him slipping there. Honestly, you should not die level 1. I think that's just a mistake. I think it's way more forgivable to die when they're level 2 and 3. This one should have been avoided.
Yep, Avalanche from Nightfall. Trying to get some blocks onto Baboka. They actually used the Blood Grenade as well, but the Hoof Stomp coming out should put this play to an end. But yeah, this lane should be interesting. We got Toronto Tokyo on the Magnus this time. If he's played it 3 or 4 times, I feel like, in the cast that we've had, I believe he had a really bad performance once and then bounced back immediately, and we haven't really seen him have a poor performance since on this hero.
No. I think consistently the only hero that I've been unimpressed.
Wow.
That is
Solo killed at level 3.
Huh?
Gracious me, oh my.
How's he even in kill range to begin with? How is he low enough from playing against Storm? This should be such an easy lane for play. This is massive for the game, by the way. Generally, these early game kills don't necessarily mean that much, but in this matchup, Storm killing Puck, getting level 6 first, that's a potential game changer here. That's a really unexpected kill.
The Kiyotaka special.
Disruption.
Panto already has 3 stacks of...
Oh, nice sidestep there.
Yeah, well, Baboka won't be able to get the finishing blow.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Still will take a decent amount, though.
Shadow Servant.
Yeah, what do you think about that choice this time?
Expecting his Terrorblade to die, and then he gets his own Terrorblade.
Yeah, it feels like you're not getting great
nice
value.
play from Toronto Tokyo as well up top.
Kiyotaka gonna force out the Fairy Fire onto Emo. He's just gonna die again. Second death in a row. This lane's over.
All right, this is not okay.
Kiyotaka doing Kiyotaka things, it seems. Metamorphosis for Fly.
Toronto Tokyo did Toronto Tokyo things, the good ones. Got a nice skewer and killed the Shadow, the Shadow Silencer. That's right. That's what he's called nowadays.
Sounds like he's from the Shire.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, Toronto Tokyo on the Magnus, I think he's looked solid. I think the only hero this tournament that I've been disappointed in him in has been Enigma. I think he's had a couple of games that just did not look good.
So this was the first death.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
just got a bit greedy for that water rune, it seems.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you do here? Because this lane, it's just over. Emo is about to hit level 6 relatively soon. You're not even going to hit level 5 by then.
You keep laning as Puck. You still shouldn't die. When Storm is 6, you also shouldn't die. But
Okay, well, he's proven that wrong twice.
no, Storm hasn't been 6 yet.
Okay, that's technically true.
Yeah, now that Kiyotaka has experienced death and tasted it twice, he says it's a bad flavor.
You know, there's a reason that you're supposed to fear things in life,
Yeah,
like death.
yeah.
Because then you can have the proper reaction. But if you don't fear anything, it's actually, and a lot of times, a negative thing, Cinderin.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't feel the pressure,
Yeah, it
but
could
you
be a
also
good
don't
thing.
feel, you know, the remorse for feeding twice in lane against
Yeah.
the Storm Spirit. Keep that in mind when you... Never mind, not going
Feed
to go
against
down that
Storm Spirit
road.
in lane.
Not going to go down that road.
I don't even know where you were going with that.
Don't worry about it.
yeah. Tell me later.
Yeah,
When
we'll
you
laugh
scream-
about it later, of course.
Tell me in the green room while you scream the F word.
The Nightfall right now sitting pretty with the 30 and 4. Top of the net worths
Big
right now.
damage
Or
on
top of the
Tamir.
CS, I should say. What's that?
Oh, just big damage on Tamir. He had a 15 charge magic wand though, but Silencer is doing some decent lifting up here. Ollie putting whatever pressure he can to enable Fly to farm, but so far so good definitely. And then in this early game from Aurora, with the exception of mid, the rest of the game is looking quite fine.
It's a try all of a sudden here at the top lane. Got the disruption from Baboka. Fly gonna try to block the path onto Panto. Cold feet.
Oh,
Not gonna
Mira's
proc
sticking
in
around too
time.
long.
They
He's
get the
gonna
kill
die
onto
for
Panto,
this.
and Mira ticks away as well.
That was very unnecessary. Like, he could have just backed off on Mirana and called it quits, but they end up bleeding 2 heroes for no gain, really. Who is just standing in the backline on Mirana, taking Shadow Poison stacks and then eventually a Curse.
Why don't you continue to cast? I'm going to Alt-Tab and just see how many times
You're going to Google
Aurora,
what the F word is?
Let's see how many times Aurora's series have gone 3 games. Just curious.
Yep.
Let's see here.
I think all of them?
Aurora in group stage 1.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't count, I guess.
But no 3-game series there, I think. That would have been really interesting, of course, if they could have managed that in 2-game series to go to third.
So
the fact that you already forgot that is so funny that that was BO2.
All right. They have had 1 2-0.
Okay.
And it was losing to Bet Boom both times. So 0-2. Everything else has gone 3 games.
Yep.
And you're kind of, I mean, obviously the game's not over yet, but you're kind of seeing why that they, I feel like they get overconfident maybe. I don't know what it is. We'll see what Kiyotaka can do.
Yeah.
If he can get back in this game.
The good news is this is a good puck game. So you need a solution to Silencer, and you're pretty much good to go. The problem is, the way Puck's game is meant to go here is that you do well in lane, you get to a fast Witchblade, and then you buy ults. But now that you're behind, are you going to have to skip Witchblade? I don't think that's really a thing that mid-Pucks want to do. I say mid-Puck as if you can play it in any other lane, which you technically can, but we haven't really seen that. We did see 1-4 Puck, didn't we, actually? I think in one game earlier in this stage. But 95 to 99% mid.
Avalanche onto 2 as Emo makes his way down to the bot lane. TP support on the way, though, as the arrow just misses beyond.
I think that arrow couldn't have hit.
He's trying to bait them onto the high ground where a majority of his team are waiting, but Mira will not bite. Nightfall, though, that's who they want to get. Reflection to start. Electric Vortex meta as well. Stampede, the silence continues.
He did.
And he is a dead Tony. So nice kill from Yakult on the Nightfall, and they will pressure this tier 1 as well.
And they're going to get it too. I don't think Aurora can mount much of a defense. As a matter of fact, Panto being chased by Emo here.
Yep, they'll get the stun. Ollie's there to get the brain drain as well, as meanwhile Mira will end up faltering. So 2 pickoffs already here for Yakult. That's after getting the Tiny just moments before. Kiyotaka makes his way over, gets the coil onto the Storm. Silence to follow. Avalanche as well, but Emo should be more than fine. There's plenty of man to get away. The Boka with the disruption just to make the chase even harder. Yeah, Kiyotaka running out of steam as the RP being faked. And still not used. Toronto Tokyo wants to get better value than just a Boboka.
My mind immediately goes to, if you were just a viewer without team names, would you think it's the same 2 teams playing as in game number 1?
Yeah.
A little bit of a different feel to it this time. Nice steals here from Kiyotaka, at the very least. Something going right. But
Kiyotaka.
Also something going wrong. So I was about to say can't have it all. You can barely have anything, as it seems for now. 2K lead for the Yakult brothers. And we've seen from this team in this group stage 2, we've seen some very short games in wins. They seem to be very good at snowballing when they have the correct lineup for it. This feels like one of those games could be in the making. With Storm Centaur playing from ahead with Global Silence, you can hunt people all around the map. And just find picks. Emo will get the rune and not go for more. Nice try from Miro to get the deny, but not happening. And the problem Aurora will face right now is without Ice Blast, they kind of have damage issues. It's tough for them to kill heroes in a coil for now. It will get easier once that unlocks. Early Blade Mail here for the Centaur. Very early on Beyond. He's going to get super fat this game with this item.
Yep, he's got Vanguard, Blade Mail, and Chipper all on his side.
Dream.
As if he needs anything more.
Yeah. How much damage does he deal to a creep when it hits him?
That's like
100?
That's level 4 return.
Yeah, it's about 100 per attack onto the Centaur.
That is nice. Love this item. Shout out to Chipper.
Yeah.
Mira level 5 right now. 11 minutes in. Global Silence up and running. Yakult will smoke. Looking to find some more pickoffs. Looking to find Kiyotaka in the middle of nowhere. This time we can see that he is in their jungle. So they won't find that this time around at least. But Echo Saber on the Nightfall. Doesn't look like this will bear fruit, as you like to say. Get some vision though as Emo.
See you later, Pano. Oh, he's through there. Ice Blast out. Oh, well,
He
clip,
did,
actually.
and the coil from the other side. Global Silence. It actually keeps missing. We'll finally finish off the AA. Zips away. And we'll be just fine and dandy.
That was a great showcase of Sister Shroud being crazy, right? He almost lived.
Yeah, true.
There were 2 or 3 misses in a row from Emo.
Emo wants to reaggress, this time onto Mira. Gets the leap onto the high ground. Emo's out of mana right now, but bottling up as Baboka and Ollie shadowing him.
That's a good disruption.
Disruption, can't jaunt anymore. Kiyotaka is dead again. Emo dodging the arrow as well. That's Fly. He's going to be taking some enemy creeps here. And that is death number 4 for Kiyotaka.
It's such a treat to watch Emo play Storm when he's on. Like, the little things. He's doing a really good job at assessing. I think one of the hardest things about this hero for players to learn in general until you're an expert is mana management, right? Is understanding how far you can go and how much you're going to do in the fights. He's just squeezing every little bit of advantage out of his mana pool in these situations.
Yep, gets another pickoff on the Mira.
I know, Aurora. This has got to be demoralizing.
Yeah, we've seen Storm Spirits get off to a start like this as this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're going to get all of these creeps, it looks like. Storm, one of the hardest snowballing heroes in the game. 4K lead already, 12-1 advantage. Aurora, we've seen, feels like every series with them, there's one game where this happens.
Yep.
It's actually the most consistent thing about them, is that they will just completely fall flat at some point during a series.
Good news is there is, of course, a third game for them since they did manage to win the first one in this one.
That's right. So another 3-game series.
Unless they somehow turn around. Okay, let's be realistic here. What's the turnaround potential look like? It's very item based for them. They need the Magnus Blink, which is here. He's just hiding it in the trees. So this is a potential fight opener with Blink Skewer, and you can skewer out of Coil for a guaranteed snap. You have the Ice Blast, and they're immediately going to put it to use. I think this is a great play. Let's see if they find a connection. The dream catch here is, of course, Emo, but you need to also get Ollie or you will just get globaled.
Oh, RP only hits one. Nice sidestep from Emo. A blast will hit on the Ollie as the Global Silence comes out, and that means the Magnus shall fall. And I think Ollie even lives through this. It's going to be close.
So quick on Emo there. Yeah. All right, well, that was meant to be the comeback play. It worked against you. If this one also clips the Storm, this could have got interesting. But
yeah. And we should mention, I forget what the bans were, but this is another reason that Rasta has been the pick, it feels like, for supports. You can't dodge that. Blink Hex out of smoke, there's no chance. But the RP, there's a cast time to it. And when you got the quick fingers of Emo, you can get out.
While this is happening, of course, Fly will just out-farm the Tiny. Tiny should be outpaced by Terrorblade until he gets his shard, which Nightfall wisely will buy almost immediately at minute 15 to try to keep up. It does take a while for Tiny to really get there when played as a carry. You need multiple items. He wants to get the Shadow Blade after this Echo Saber. Then he starts being able to really fight. And of course, you hit critical mass way later. But against the Terrorblade, this matchup is never really great, I think. Terrorblade, one of the heroes that has so much armor that he can survive your big crits. And of course, Thunder, a dream of an ability to have against high HP heroes like Tiny, who play so much on the tankiness. You'll always have that at your disposal. You'll have Global Silence to almost guarantee you get it off. So when you're in the lead like this, for Aurora, this is a very technically difficult game to play.
Big zip from Emo. go any further, though. We'll get a shield rune, though, for his efforts. Has the Obscurio in his inventory.
Yeah, I have no dispels. Oh, you can see now, by the way, Kiyotaka having to go the disastrous route. Yule's first on puck feels super bad to have to do. But you're 0-4-0. You know the Storm Orchid is up. If you buy the Witchblade, you're just going to be food. So, not really much to do about this for him, but it does mean, again, the kill power on Aurora's side is super delayed. And they're probably just going to be playing this as slowly as they can, try to farm up.
Yep, gonna find a nice pick off here onto Toronto Tokyo. Good smoke.
You can't avoid this, that's the problem. The Dire lineup is way too good at catching heroes and killing them around the map. Storm Orchid, Stampede. And whenever Emo initiates on anything, if they even remotely fear a counterplay, they just press one button on Silencer and they get the kill. This is a classic combo. It's super easy when you're ahead to play it. There was a phase in Dota where a lot of games, I forget when this was many years ago, but there was a phase when teams were playing a lot of Bat Silencer and Storm Silencer. They would just jump heroes, kill them, and then chill. Doing that all across the map.
All right, well, let's take a guess here.
Yeah.
How many kills will Aurora get by the end of the game?
All right, do you want to do an over-under?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, give me one.
8.
Under.
Okay.
I was going to say 5 as my over-under for you if I was the one giving the number, but...
I'll take over 5. We'll have two different...
We can both be right. Let's watch them get 6 or 7, and we can both be...
In a win, of course.
Genius this time. Okay. Now that would be something. They just get nothing done for like 30 minutes, and then they win one team fight and end.
Yeah, they have Tiny.
Yeah.
You know? He can take those buildings real fast. Tell you what.
It's theoretically possible. And highly unlikely at the same time. But that's what we love, Shannon. We love the suspense.
Yes.
Of how will Yakult win. It's really suspenseful.
This is like a 40-point blowout in the NBA. What do you talk about anymore?
Yeah.
Well, if we just hit more three-pointers, it'll be fine.
Yep. Well, fortunately for them in the NBA, they play best of 117, so they can obviously come back in the 57th game.
That's true. Best of 7s can be a bit grindy, no doubt.
Remember when Dota had that? Couple tournaments?
I do remember people saying that. I don't think I ever watched the full best of 7s before.
I think it only happened twice in Dota 2. I think there were 2 tournaments, and they might have been within the same year even, where the finals were best of 7s. I remember the most notorious one of the teams was up 3-0, and then there was a lunch break. And then they lost 4 games in a row. The reverse best of 7 sweep after lunch.
That means too many carbs, man.
Yeah. It's got to be it.
Gonna get sleepy.
I believe that was... It was in a Chinese tournament. It was DK.
Was it the one on the boat?
No, I don't think so.
Nanyang or something?
No, I think it was... Who was it DK were playing? It was a China versus China tournament, I think. Or at least the finals, I remember it was. It's a long time ago. It was many, many years ago.
Looks like Fly is opting for the Orchid. Has the mantle already, of course. He's top net worth at the moment. And really, for Aurora, looks like Nightfall is doing relatively well still. Echo Saber with the Shadow Blade.
He's the one hero who has just been allowed to farm. Tiny will always sit here on net worth if he's uncontested. This just should happen. The good news for Yakult is I don't think it's a problem. I don't think you're worried that Tiny is farming. Oh, see you later, Toronto Tokyo. Gets thrown by Roche. Walked straight into him. I think when Roche throws a hero, if they land on top of another hero, that hero should get stunned like the Ogre Bruisers.
Yeah. Be like a pulverized situation.
Yeah. And I think Roche should try to. So if he throws a hero, he should. If there's any other hero in the area, he will throw it at them.
All right, since we're talking shit at the moment.
Well, that was our pre-game segment today on the...
What do you think of this? Okay, what do you think of this? Now, I haven't really thought this through. I literally just thought of it. And I'm sure this has been brought up before.
All right.
What if there was some mechanism that lets you take over Roche?
For a period of time?
Yeah,
or?
For a period of time. would you like? Do you like the very base concept? You know, because obviously talking about balance and all of that can be worked out. It's not the point.
Oh, what if that was the 4th Aegis? You get a summon Roshan for 1 minute.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
think that's interesting.
I think that's
because in these really long games where you keep going Rosh over and over and over, there's not much variety anymore. It's like, oh, they're getting the same items again for the 10th time ever. Yeah, there should be like some point, some threshold where, hey, we also get Rosh. Or Rosh's baby. Something just pops out of his gut.
What if he dropped a Roshan stone that transforms your hero into Roshan? So you need to choose a hero on your team that plays as Roshan, and then you have Roshan spells. So you can walk
What
into...
about your... So what happens to your hero? You're inside?
Yeah, you're just unavailable
so it's
for
like a
the time.
pinata. So that's kind of like Heroes of the Storm had with the dragon.
Yeah, so you're Rosh, and you can go and grab an enemy and throw them.
Yeah, I like it.
And you can slam.
Yeah, and then you pop out and you can cast your spells.
Yeah, and if the enemy team kills you, they get Aegis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
So the funny thing is,
like
we
that.
have this conversation, let's say 5 years ago, everybody can say, man, you guys are stupid. They're probably still saying that.
Yeah.
Guess what? Give it another 2 years. We're gonna see that.
I'm way past the point of.
Yeah, I'm glad. I finally.
I've accepted. I'm full acceptance now. Of all right, this is where we're at.
And nice little cheeky play here from Aurora, able to take the Tormy while the Rosh is being taken. So shard from Mira. This gets an extra charge onto Leap, and I believe the Panther will belch.
Nope, not anymore.
Mistaken.
You get crit on Leap.
Oh,
they removed the belch.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It was weird. This is about as good as it's going to get for Aurora here. Trading Rosh for Tormentor.
Yeah, for sure.
Is pretty much the best case
Net
scenario.
worth says 4K, Sinner. Should we be believing this?
It's not so much about the gold, it's about where it sits. Like, you have so much gold on the Tiny and so little on the Magnus. I'm actually impressed with Kiyotaka's farm, I have to say that. He has been catching up. He's playing the map pretty well and just finding whatever he can, so by all means, is this within reach? The question is, when you're down 1 and 15 and feel like you got crushed in your farming, when do you recognize that you have a moment of opportunity? And are you going to make the correct call?
Yeah.
Because this feels like a one-fight game right now, where if Aurora take a bad one, they just lose. And that's despite only being 4K down in the mid-game.
We'll see how much they can get with this Aegis. It is on the Storm Spirit, so less building hitting, but obviously much greater value in the second life.
He's going to pop his haste and run north, looking for a snack. Mirana will show. And I think she's about to die if Emo gets to connect here. The two supports are the only heroes up here. If Emo sees anything, they're dead. Yeah, he's going to keep running at them. He'll see Mirana soon. Did you get any vision there? No. All right. Okay. They got out.
Shadow
Not
makes
bad.
it harder anyway. Baboka.
Good space for Aurora.
The damage rune.
And look at how Aurora have placed their heroes on the map. Right? It's like very spread out. They just had the two supports top. They had Tiny jungling. Kiyotaka was farming the right side of the map and cutting waves. It's a very deliberate, just keep away strategy. And this is hard to play against Storm, but they're doing a really good job not getting caught very much by Emo right now. So credit where credit's due. In a very difficult game, they're finding some good ways of playing it.
Yules himself before the global, and
well, credit to the other. Well,
no, he gets the blink off, but there's the Orchid to follow, and he dies. I don't understand these moves at all.
I think he didn't recognize that Flyfi has Orchid. I really don't think so. Otherwise, this is just nonsense, right? He went and then started casting some spells on the Terrorblade. He gets Orchided. He has to Yule against that Orchid. Then he gets Globaled.
Yeah.
And then Storm has like 10 seconds to connect with another Orchid. That was just not a play. If Terrorblade doesn't have Orchid there, you're not really under that much pressure. You just orb out.
Well, I suppose they haven't really... Well, his illusions have been in lane for quite a while, so you really should know that he has Orchid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any excuse for that. It's not like this is a I just picked this up kind of thing. It's been at least a few minutes.
Well, they're going to use this to push mid on the side of Yakult. Not overcommitting though, but step by step, more illusions.
Tier 2 down.
All right, I have a question for you. I'm curious what you think about
Please, by all means.
I'm going to propose like 3 or 4 really dumb metas, and you have to tell me which one you would rather play in.
Okay.
Split push, where that's really good.
Definitely not.
Death Ball.
Okay.
or an illusion meta? Which one would you rather play? I guess the split push illusion is kind of overlapping, but
I guess Death Ball.
you'd rather play Death Ball games.
At least the misery is short-lived.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's a really Dota way of thinking about game design. Like, how can I suffer the least? Not how do I have the most fun?
Well, none of those are fun, so you're giving me shit
I
options.
guess you're right. Oh, wait, one more. Rubber Band.
Oh, I love Rubber Band's great.
You'd rather play
Absolutely.
Rubber Band?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
hilarious. Beyond, he's going to get ganked here. Coil to start. Toronto Tokyo's going to snap him out with the
Nice
skewer.
find. That's cool.
They actually
That
used
is not
Global
gonna help.
for, yeah.
Way
they
too
were getting
late.
close. Emo, he still wants to fight potentially. Firefly actually finishes the teleportation as well. They're going to try to come high ground. The
Moonlight
Sentry's
Shadow.
place. Ollie, wrong place, wrong time. He gets 3-shot.
He gets a lot of info,
Double
though.
kill for Nightfall.
He got a lot of info.
Yep, Toronto Tokyo does get the RP up, but there's absolutely no follow-up whatsoever. Emo on top of Nightfall with the BKB. The Nightfall is successful. He's out of there. He's practiced that to a T. Panto in the meantime trying to dodge Emo. Inside of the trees, Fly gets the last right click. Double kill for him. 3-18. So they did triple up on their
Top tower is under attack.
True.
kills.
We need to keep track of the sub 8 or above 5.
Dire
This was good news for you, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
You said below. You said 5 or below, right?
I said for you it was over under 5, and you said over, and I said under 8, right?
Oh, yeah.
So 6 or 7 means we both win.
Yeah.
Yutaka. Disengage.
Dire are scanning.
Watch Aurora win this game with like 20 kills. That would be funny.
I mean,
It's-
some part of me
not out of the
wouldn't even
question.
be surprised based on these games. It's just such a weird team. I was going to say meta, but it's really the team.
Yeah.
Aurora just, I don't know. Kiyotaka continuing to stay at about the same net worth as Emo. So
That's kind of crazy.
I don't know how that's possible.
Emo's 8-0-4. Puck is 0-5-1. How do they have the same net worth? He's 50 CS behind on the Storm.
Did Alk gift an Ags or something? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, Emo has a little bit of a bonus here with the 22 galvanized stacks. So that's some free net worth, if you will.
Kiyotaka does get off the blink into the correct direction.
He's
They're
on the
going to
ward.
continue to pursue, though.
They see him throw this orb out with the ward. And uh-oh. This is
He's TPing. He's fine.
spicy, but it worked. And when you see this game state for like 10 minutes, it really has you thinking, what if they just didn't mess up mid? Like,
Yeah.
how different could this game have been if Kiyotaka was running the show and said, once again, I think he's played a really good last 10 minutes. It's just very much plan B to play like this on puck this game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good showing that even in bad games, you can find a way back. So, but if they play this game 10 times, I think this is the worst laning stage he's going to have, to be honest. So, it's like a low roll. But Boke is going Hex on Shadow Demon.
Oh.
I
must
really
be
want
nice.
to target this puck. I mean, he's very rich.
He's been getting farm from the disruption on to the Terror Blade. A lot of illusions to farm away as Mira.
Oh, he used Moonlight.
Will
What?
drop. Yeah, Moonlight used as well.
He was beyond dead.
Well, 10 seconds from Roche being potentially available. Nightfall still under the cover of the Moonlight Shadow. He's going to be seen here. It's off the Avalanche. They're TPing as well. Has the Shadow Blade,
Emo has
though.
a regen rune. He can chase forever.
Yeah. Do they have vision, though, is the question.
He'll keep going here, surely.
Has the gem, actually. They do find him. Electric Vortex onto Nightfall, but Kiyotaka coming in. Nice coil from the gates.
Sunder.
Global silence.
Sunder
As
him?
Storm in a lot of trouble.
Fly, hello?
not interested in saving his Storm. We'll pick up the gem at the very least.
all right, if I'm Emo, I'm just not happy. He had such a long time to go for that Sunder, and he has BKB to protect himself with.
Well, he doesn't want to die too, though, Cinder, you know.
Oh, worst case scenario, he dies instead of him. That's absolute worst case scenario, which also shouldn't really happen there, but...
Yeah, that was an
right.
8-0 Storm, so...
Like,
nice
look how
catch
much
from
time
Aurora.
he has. He could Sunder him now.
Yeah.
Now. He had 3 seconds. He's just not doing it.
Yep.
All right, well...
He doesn't believe in his teammate. That's very obvious.
Unfortunate.
Kiyotaka, hoof stomped. Ooh, barely gets the jaunt off. Kiyotaka with the blink now into the trees. Reflection.
Missed.
And Kiyotaka actually gets out for once.
Nightfall kills Baboka.
Yep, and that's a big kill because the support is quite farm this game.
Nice
Horn
little
toss
gem.
online for Toronto Tokyo. What's that?
Gem recovered. Or rather, was that a stolen one even? No, it was the Dire Gem. So Mira picks that up.
And we're sitting on a 2K net worth lead for Yakult.
Yep. Win expectancy is going up and up. Law and Order.
Radiant are scanning.
Law and Order.
They're going to be baited by this Invis rune. He gets Horn Toss. Toronto Tokyo. Great connection. Arrow. AA Blast. Goodbye, fat, juicy horse.
All right, you're safe, Shannon. We're above 5. My prediction is starting to look real bad right about now. Aurora allowed to get 1 more kill.
Yeah, they're looking okay
I mean,
now.
they fully recovered the game in a way I did not think was going to be possible. Like, I thought Emo would be, by now, like 15-0. And that's not an exaggeration. That's what I would have expected with that early game. You have Silencer. You have so many ways of opening. Aurora has just dodged them.
Oh, he gets silenced. Gets off the Yules, but the global silence to follow. Easy kill. They expended quite a bit here. Let's see if Aurora can try to reset. Nightfall. Trying to run away. The electric vortex is reflected. Do they have the stun connection onto the Storm Spirit? He's really low. Disruption comes out at the last moment. Panto has the AA blast. He's going to try for a snipe here. Not going to find it, though. Good attempt. Very good attempt. Emo fully exited back to the fountain.
When you say very good attempt, you mean that he threw it out?
It was a good thought.
Oh, good thought. Okay, because the attempt was about 5,000 range off, at least. But
good effort.
Good effort. Yes, there it is. All right.
And Roche will go the way of Yakult after all that.
Time for you old Aegis. And Banner. Which goes to Emo.
Toronto Tokyo showing off that Ags earlier. We'll be going for Refresher next.
Yep, has enough mana for 2 RPs with this. Costs 950. So a little bit extra for a BKB use, for a skewer, and a horn toss. But that's pretty much it. You got to be a little bit careful with your management. And this is something I always look for whenever heroes are buying Refresher, because I've seen countless pro games where they don't account for it. And they just use all their stuff, refresh, and then, oh, I can't use RP. Happens more often than you'd think at this level. Torment time for Yakult.
Torment.
Who is going to get this?
Well, it could be... No, it's one of the 2 supports.
Bob Oka.
Cleanse.
Not bad. Remove Puck Silence.
Yep.
Cold Feet. That's pretty much it, I guess. But the Silence is very nice to have a removal for in particular for the Storm. But, of course, Emo will be receiving his shiny golden stick. Gonna start a petition to get this item renamed.
Why?
It just sounds good, doesn't it?
Not really.
No, I don't think so either. I was just testing you.
Cosmodan.
The Casmodon Rod.
Dire are scanning.
All right, so how much can they do with this next Aegis? 4K lead only.
Yep.
Despite it being 20 to 6
They can do
advantage in the
this.
kill department. Emo. That's the connection. Onto Toronto Tokyo with the BKB skewer. The arrow does hit the horse. And he's dead.
He has a gem. I don't know if they saw it. It's hard to see it in the middle of these ice vortexes, actually.
Sure,
they're not
there?
noticing it.
It is there. Wow, you're right. Yeah.
All right, they should see it now. Well, anyone? Okay. Kiyotaka's next to it. He just still didn't see it. Might stay there for a while.
Whose gem is that?
The Centaur Courier is flying out. I think he's going to recover it.
Yeah, I think so. Don't they get vision of it, not the enemies, right?
Yeah. It's lying in a weird spot where it doesn't get very much vision on the map.
Pretty lucky.
Trees, but
Pretty lucky.
Prize is mine.
easy recovery here.
Oh, Nightfall's close to it, though. Will he see it? No.
All right, Aurora.
Bye.
7 kills, Shannon. This is it.
Yep, they're at their limit.
Good thing we didn't bet anything. I have a tendency to make really bad bets with you, don't I? I should probably just not do that.
Yep, thanks for the $200 dinner.
Yeah. All right, that wasn't the whole bet, though. I had to get you back for a lot of stuff you got me in Raleigh, of course, which was great. Played pickleball and was injured for a month. That's lovely. It's a good time.
Oh,
Coil.
AA Blast is coming, but Coil ends up being wasted.
He is.
Arrow? Is he dead?
Oh, good pipe.
Okay. Very close.
He would have been dead if Mirana had eggs.
Yeah, true.
But not the case. Do not recommend Mira buying that.
One of the weakest ags in the game, and also one of the most uninteresting. I still miss the old Starstorm just passively going off. Created a very interesting playstyle for Mirana.
I mean, at this point, you could bring it back, right?
Yeah.
They nerfed it at the time. They kind of changed it because it was considered too crazy for farming speed or whatever. But with how everything else has been going, I think Mirana is
bring it back.
Not too power creep for that anymore. Not seeing much play. This hero is exclusively played support right now. Used to be a time when you could pick at core. Those days are long gone. Fortunately, now that she can't be played core, we have Terrorblade support, so that's
Terrorblade
great development.
in some capacity in every game. That's a requirement, some contractual obligation with the anime, of course, being the main villain that nobody felt really strongly about, if we're being honest. Could not care less about him in the show. I don't know if that was just me. The most uninteresting character possible.
You watched the whole show? You did, right?
I did.
Yeah. I think a lot of people only watched season 1. I think the final season was
going to pick up the haste. They get the hex onto the AA. Oh, arrow connects onto the TB. No follow-up,
do you guys want to kill Panto, or?
They will eventually. Just trying to get some other stragglers here. Emo doesn't have the gem any longer, so Mira in the Moonlight Shadow is fine. Actually scouting things out, if nothing else.
His Aegis is about to expire. I think Mira might be making a call here. Nightfall connecting. Ooh. That could have got interesting.
Oh, a bit of sieging action for Yakult as the tier 3.
All right, do you want to count together how many illusions is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 illusions.
No, just the same amount of kills that Aurora has.
Yeah. Could double their kills by killing the illusions, but
they will expire naturally, of course. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Yay, more illusions!
Yeah, illusion meta. Definitely not a thing. Well, most of the tower gone here. As Yakult almost certainly going to be waiting for the next Roche.
Oh, Kiyotaka!
Oh, they find Kiyotaka on the cliff. He's dead.
Bro, that was...
How many times, Cinderin? How many times?
I mean, I get you want to deward the cliff. You kind of need some coverage or a smoke, man. Like, the whole enemy team is going to be there with their disables for you. They have X's, silences.
This isn't going to stop them from trying to fight this out. Global silence after Emo gets initiated on. Now they can try to counteract everything. Buyback comes out from Kiyotaka's Toronto Tokyo with the double RP as Nightfall cleaving upon them. Emo is dead. No buyback here. The toss-up. Oh, they actually snap it. Trying to kite out the thunder. They get him out. Fly in the grave. Kiyotaka, a genius after all.
Yeah, that's not... I don't even know what level of bait that is. I was going to say next level. But what's the next level when your base level is 0? At level 1 bait.
I don't know what to say. This is a 0 and 7 puck. This is the most eternal envy player in the world right now. There is no question.
It's funny how
50-50.
He had that atrocious Ricky game as well and won. Is this just going to be a replay of that?
It might.
It's crazy. I mean, I will say this. His teammates really took advantage of the situation, and then the buyback ends up coming in clutch So the follow-up fight worked out great for Aurora. But also, that was Toronto Tokyo being able to get a 2-hero RP there. Emo should just not get caught by that one. He had so much time to think, right? The Magnus was stunned for a full 3 seconds, and then you ended up being in melee range for the RP anyway. That's kind of just... For Emo's standards, that's just unacceptable.
Kiyotaka on the high ground. Toronto Tokyo he goes fishing, and he finds a horse.
Oh, that's generally not what you're fishing for. Imagine that. Pulling that, just reeling that in.
Storm up in 5 seconds.
Go fishing and you reel in a horse mass.
And Nightfall and company somehow in this game are going to get the first barracks.
And the outcome we all expected.
I don't understand Dota anymore. I don't understand it.
No.
How can you go 0-7 on your mid laner and win the game potentially? Emo.
Oh, that's
tossed out.
Perfect
the coil as
execution.
well. He's dead again.
Okay. Take it easy now. Testing the audio equipment here.
Aurora in the driver's seat. I don't understand anything anymore. Kiyotaka MVP so far in this game, no doubt.
That was...
Right there is the MVP play, ladies and gentlemen.
Completely bonkers. Like, that's so crazy. But this, okay, this is the bigger mistake. Look how long Magnus is stunned for. How do you get RP'd there on Storm?
I don't know.
That is just crazy. I will say the last kill they just got on Storm in the Dire base was pretty crisp, though. That was a nice fishing during coil.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful snap there.
And now Nightfall will take a snack of his own. It is Roche.
Yep. Refresher and cheese on this bad boy.
Yeah.
All right, here's my challenge for you. Come up with Roshan's next drop, and it cannot be the Roshan Stone. What should he give after cheese?
The Roshan Stone is when you become Roche?
Yeah, so we're ruling that out because we already had that idea. What would Roshan's next item
You could just make a block of cheese.
Okay. So, okay, come up with something new.
New?
Yeah, something. What do you think could be cool if he dropped? What would it do?
Tower regrowth.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say something really stupid like that. So
what? You're putting me on the spot. What do you expect?
When you put most people on the spot, they either come up with nothing or...
Okay. I never come up with nothing. We had a panel about feet, for God's sake.
Yeah, truly your greatest moment.
11K lead for Aurora.
Your track record so day on creativity.
I mean, to be fair, it's not even a good item. You get one building, like a tower.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's stupid.
Roche.
That's not the same thing.
Whatever.
Shannon, you get 1 minute to think about it, and I'll quiz you.
I'm not thinking about it anymore. 3 charges on Aegis, like the old days.
Yeah, the one you had to buy that gave armor and magic resist, and then you would be stuck with it in your inventory until the game ended because you couldn't drop it. Yep.
Tier 2 taken out from Aurora as a sheep stick now on Mira. And now Yakult are the ones forced to try to defend. Kiyotaka, of course, just enters the base just to see what's up.
Yeah.
Has the gem.
Checking them out.
Still looking for that 8th death here for Kiyotaka.
Well, love always finds a way. Nightfall might run into Emo. He cannot solo him, though, and Emo's getting the...
Oh!
He's dry now.
Yep.
Can they fish him? They can. They can.
Oh, no. Vision! Horn toss! Into the Hex! Into another death for Emo!
Good
putting on his Kiyotaka cosplay.
Nice save.
Oh, wait. He's alive, Cinderin.
Yeah, they disrupted in Global. Thanks for paying attention to the team fight.
Fly takes down Panto. As Nightfall able to delete Boca, but Nightfall, that's the Aegis.
Okay, they coiled nothing.
Skewer, snaps. They get the RP on top. This is a dead Terrorblade. Has the buyback. We'll use it instantly. Meanwhile, another Hex onto Emo. Toss up as well. This 25 talent from Nightfall is insane. Yeah. That's no longer a Storm Spirit. No way to get back in the game. Ultra kill as well as Beyond trying to run away. The Avalanche is there, though. As a Skewer will find Ollie. A nice tasty treat for the rest of the team. As Nightfall will get his Rampage that he so desperately wanted. And this is going to be GG somehow in favor of Aurora.
All right. There we go.
It's going to be years and years of research to figure out what the fuck this game was. That was not Dota.
They had such a big lead, and